Now, these are some of Trump's most recent remarks on Social Security. You're going to want to hear this.
And the money has been spent every year, so whereas everybody thinks this money's been set aside for me, no.
We don't have union money. We're dead broke. It's all a scam.
Wild. Yeah.
This is all a scam.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan. So Elon Musk posted the Social Security database where they have the age ranges of the population within their systems. This is just insane. If this doesn't boggle your mind, I don't know what will. So Elon said, according to the Social Security database, these are the numbers of people in each age bracket with the death field set to false, meaning they are currently alive. Within the Social Security database, they have 3, 6, 9, 12 over the age of 110. According to Social Security Administration, there are over 1 million people, almost 1.5 million people, between the ages of 150 and 160 years old that are receiving benefits. Real quick, would you consider hitting that thumbs up button? You know when you like this video, you're not agreeing with the insanity, but you're helping push it out to more people to help spread the truth. Aiden says almost 395 million people, but the total population of America is 334 million. Elon responded, yes, there are far more eligible Social Security numbers than there are actual citizens in the USA. This might be the biggest fraud in history. I like how Liz Churchill put it. She said all these people in this age bracket were the Biden voters. In fact, when you add this up, it comes out to what, like 20-something million votes? And it was like overnight, Biden got like 20-something million votes. Now, of course, the left is flipping out about all this massive fraud coming out, about a lot of these government agencies being exposed. And the reason they are flipping out is because they are being exposed and they are losing essentially their slush fund, which is the American taxpayers' money just being funneled through all these different organizations back into their own pockets. Now, another reason that they're upset is because of this. Elon said the real reason so many Democrats are upset about entitlements like Social Security, medical, etc., fraud investigations is that they are using your taxpayer money as handouts to attract and retain illegal immigrants, their future voters. That's what it's all about. While they're screaming and hollering about how Doge has no business exposing their corruption, one Doge employee is getting access to the IRS information. Under Biden, 919 people were given access that aren't qualified, as the Democrats would put it. This is Martin O'Malley, the former commissioner of the Social Security Administration, and he thinks it's just hilarious that Americans have concerns over where all their money has gone.
SSA is rife with fraud, suggesting that benefits are being paid to dead people, that millions and millions of dollars are going to waste. You're laughing, but that is a concern that a lot of Americans have. Is it not? Is it a laughing matter?
Well,
wow.
Yeah. He has no idea what he's talking about. There is not like a zombie apocalypse of people, cadavers running around with Social Security checks coming out of their pockets.
You see, these raging lunatics, they will laugh and mock you because they have no other defense. Now, while he's sitting there laughing and mocking you, here's MSNBC. Remember, was on the government's payroll, but even they said this.
There was an Inspector General audit last year that showed over an 8-year period, the Social Security Administration made almost $72 billion in improper payments.
In 2024, Social Security paid almost $72 billion. Now, this is the number that they feel comfortable admitting to, okay? Keep that in mind as well. This number is probably much higher than $72 billion. But this guy has the nerve to laugh in your face. You're an idiot for not thinking that they know what they're doing. Although they do know what they're doing, They just don't want you to know that they know what they're doing and that all this money is just getting funneled back into, with all this government corruption being exposed, we need news that we can trust. And that's where the sponsor of this video, Ground News, comes in. You can check out Ground News for yourself by going to ground.news/Brylan. In fact, Ground News shows you exactly how the left and the right are spinning the news so you don't have to play the guessing games anymore. In fact, I absolutely love how they have a bias meter to show you what side is actually covering the stories you read. Their blind spot feature shows you when the left or the right isn't covering the news that you should know about. You can also see who owns each news outlet. And again, if you go to ground.news/Brylan or scan this barcode, then you can get 40% off the same Vantage plan that I personally use. So thank you for supporting Ground News. It really helps me to continue to bring you daily news videos that you can trust. In fact, this is Senator Tommy Tuberville. I want you to listen to what he has to say about Social Security. He said this almost a year ago. But man, oh man, is this eerie to hear, knowing what we now know about all the fraud within the Social Security Administration.
As Mr. Stevenson said, a lot of us are retiring. I retired a few years ago, and then my wife told me to get me a job. So here I am today. I've for 40 years paid max in Social Security, max, and probably paid close to $1 million in Social Security, and I think I get about $3,000 a month, maybe. And by the way, Social Security, for those of you who don't know, this group up here in 1983 voted to tax Social Security, and then a few years later, tax it again. It's all a scam.
Wild. Yeah.
This is all a scam.
Wow.
I mean, we got people that's getting ready to retire that's going to try to live off $2,000 to $3,000. Impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Because what happens, it comes up here, we spend it. We're $35 trillion in debt. We don't have union money. We're dead broke. And then taxpayers have $2 trillion in credit card debt. We are in huge trouble. In this body, we had better start figuring that out, because we're going to have a run on this city here soon, and there's going to be about 150 million people coming up here saying, where's our damn money that we paid in? I could have put my Social Security money for 40 years in tax in the market and probably be worth 8 to 10 million today. But the federal government wasted it. So I'll get off my horse there. But it's good that we have this, because we got, I get a little pension check from education. I was part of a union. It's not going to help people. People are going to have to continue to work longer and longer. Am I right, Ms. Gender? Can you say something about Social Security and it being taxed for some reason? We're taxing people for the second time on Social Security that they put into an account.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, when Social Security was first founded, those who established it was started out as a 2% tax, and they said this will never take more than 6% of your income. Today it takes 12.4%. Wow. And depending on whether you go with CBO or Social Security trustees, it needs to take between 15.8 and 17.5%. So we're talking about thousands of dollars more per year. It also was actually originally recommended that the tax be up to $66,000, equivalent in today's dollars, of earnings. But over time, it has expanded massively, and the money has been spent every year. So whereas everybody thinks this money's been set aside for me, no, for the past 13 years, every dollar that has gone out of workers' paychecks has gone immediately to pay promised benefits. And that's what happens when you have a system that enables those in charge of it to spend the money in the immediate term and leave the buck to the next generation that's coming along.
Wow, it's just wild. It's a tragedy, really. Think about all these Americans that have paid into Social Security for all of their adult lives and are now at the point where they are expecting to get what was promised to them, what they paid into, and knowing that they will not be able to get enough to be able to survive. It's heartbreaking. And then on top of all that, a double taxation is theft. And so for them to take a double tax Social Security, and how people have just been okay with that for so long, it just blows my mind. There's a lot of things that these swamp creatures in our government have pulled the wool over Americans' eyes that they do today, and they don't care, because they've already gotten their reward. They have already lined their pockets. Now, these are some of Trump's most recent remarks on Social Security. You're going to want to hear this.
Social Security won't be touched. Other than this fraud or something, we're going to find it's going to be strengthened, but won't be touched. Medicare, Medicaid, none of that stuff is going to be touched.
Nothing.
You don't have to. Oh. Now, if there are illegal migrants in the system, we're going to get them out of the system and all of that fraud. But it's not going to be touched.
Now, Trump has said consistently throughout campaigning for president and since he has become president for the second time, nothing will happen to Social Security. On top of that, listen to Caroline Leavitt give a scathing rebuke to the Democrats, but also, again, confirming that the Trump administration is not going to get rid of Social Security, but they're going to fix it.
I've been fighting fake news reporters all day long here in the Washington, D.C. swamp who are trying to fearmonger the American people into believing that this administration is going after their hard-earned tax dollars and their hard-earned Social Security checks. So I want to set the record straight on your show tonight, Sean, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the Doge team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the books yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments. And so their goal in going into the Social Security Administration is to identify three things. Number one, to identify duplicate payments and to end them. Number two, to identify payments that are going to deceased people who are no longer living and should no longer be receiving that money. And number three, to protect the integrity of this system for hardworking Americans who have been paying into it their entire lives. So rest assured to all of the people watching your show tonight, if you paid into the system, honestly, you will continue to receive your Social Security checks. Do not buy into the lies from the legacy fake news media who are trying to fear you and scare you into believing otherwise. This is what we've seen them do about President Trump for years with every promise that he has made. And he's going in there to protect your hard-earned money. That is the ultimate goal.
Listen to Psalm 37, verse 16 and 17 with me real quick. And, you know, this psalm really gives hope that the wicked, the depraved, the evil will not succeed in their schemes. It says, "Better is the little that the righteous has than the abundance of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous." Let's continue to strive for righteousness, to stand in truth and never waver from it. And God will uphold those who belong to him. And while the wicked think they will get away with their schemes, they will not. They will face God in judgment. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please hit that thumbs up button. You know when you like this video to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.